All right, it's the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. It's a Friday afternoon. Got a little rain going on here in Cincinnati. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Carroll. Jason Kiefer is here. Pappas is going. God knows where Pappas is today.
the world traveler.
I mean, you sent out a text yesterday reminding us that the podcast was at 4:00 today, 4:00 Eastern time. Correct. His response to that was, your text said, 4:00 tomorrow, you good, something like that. And he said, sure, which is an indicator of what? Yes, he's good. He's good for the podcast.
Yep.
But then today comes and we get shined again. So,
and Andrew with his new Facebook moniker of him in a crown says, show seems light. Of course he would say that. Andrew.
What, is he in the chats?
Yeah, well, he at least liked it.
Oh, so he's got time to be in the chats, but yet he can't join us over the phone or maybe get on the computer.
No,
or anything like that.
He's in the chats. He just said I'm busy.
Jesus. He's busy. He's busy watching the podcast. Wow.
What a couple days, Dan, since we've been here.
It's amazing. I mean,
the studio,
the news cycle is. I've never seen it like this. It is. We talk about stories we think are big stories that day, and then 48 hours later, they're completely flushed down the toilet, and we got a whole new set of stories on our hands.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
So before we get into the stories, let's. How was your last couple days?
Okay. I mean, today was one of those days where. I had radio the last couple of days, and today I'm working with our buddy Corbett. And the thing is, I worked till midnight last night. I'm at his house at 7:30 in the morning. We got a plan. Hey, man, we're just going to throw up a couple of things. We're in, we're out. He's got to hit the road. He's got to be in Columbus, wedding at 5, which is 1 hour from now. And we get there, and it's one of those days where absolutely nothing goes right. Just one thing is wrong after another. And this is what happens when you rely on other people, because we relied on the measurements that they provided. They insisted that, look, I know we want to make this as easy for you as possible. We've got all the measurements for everything that we want. And then we go in there today and nothing fits. So
never works that way.
Yeah.
Never works out where you think it's going to be.
Yeah. And we did installs there on Tuesday as well. And we had to make modifications to almost everything because guess what? It's just not the right size. I mean, what turned into,
if you've heard that once,
should have been, maybe a couple, 3 hours turned into, 8.5, 9 hour day.
That's fantastic.
That's beautiful. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's all right though. I'm here now, and that's all that matters.
Thank God Dan showed up. Thank God you're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about the news cycle, and holy shit. So when I was texting and throwing you and Andrew emails, because that's the way we typically do it, is Dan will throw me emails. Andrew doesn't throw me stuff. He just says, look at my Facebook feed. But I'll throw Dan emails, and I'm like, oh shit, Air India went down. That's kind of a big thing.
I mean, that's just horrific, man. I looked at the video of that you've got.
Yeah.
And we should have Mark Lewis on to give his analysis of that.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. I wished I had.
But
because I'm curious. And when you watch the video, I'm going to read through this article real quick. But when we watched the video, it's like the plane had no lift. Like it had zero lift. Like it started and then it just plateaued and then it just looked like it landed flat. But I mean, you lose it in the video, so don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But this article, and obviously I'm sure everybody, if you're even watching news a little bit, saw it, but an Air India passenger plane carrying more than 200 people crashed on Thursday after taking off from an airport in the Indian city of Ahmedabad, and the airline has confirmed there was one survivor, despite police official earlier saying it appeared there were none. And this is something Dan and I were talking about earlier, but because I had a video. I saw a video, but I didn't grab it. But Air India flight AI-171, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner bound for London's Gatwick Airport, crashed into a residential area called Magani Nagar 5 minutes after takeoff at 1:38 p.m. local time. There were 242 passengers and crew members on board the flight. First responders found at least one survivor who was in seat 11A next to an emergency exit on board the plane. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. Sorry. Don't mean to be rude. I don't want to butcher it. So
I'm sure he's deeply offended.
It's on the screen.
Don't want to read his name.
It's on the screen, so you guys know. But 30 seconds after takeoff, there was a loud noise, and then the plane crashed. That man, okay, was quoted as telling the Hindustan Times. Do you follow that one?
The Hindustan
Times. It all happened so quickly, which
I do not have a subscription to that one, so
I don't either.
I may have heard of it before.
So I'm just kind of scrolling up there. I mean, here's some of the pictures of the wreckage, and it's for the audio listeners. Dan, explain that to me. Is that the tail?
That appears to be the tail section.
Tail. It crashed into what,
as seen from underneath.
What I am believed to have read was it crashed into a hostel hotel when it hit. Right. So, the survivor, a British national of Indian origin, was flying alongside his brother who did not survive. He later video called family members with visible facial injuries walking away from the wreckage with minimal external harm, according to footage and the relatives. I'm not going to go through the whole article, but yeah, 242 souls on board and one survived. And when I pulled this video up, it's absolutely amazing to me that anybody could walk and literally walk away from this.
Yeah, I mean the video from the airport you're talking about, where you see the plane take off, and then it just looks like it stalls. And so when you hear the word stall, it's not like my understanding of a stall in aviation terms is when you think of a car that stalls, right? The engine doesn't go and you can't move forward. When
you're
you
just
have
coasting,
yeah. When you have an airplane that stalls, what happens is you lose your forward momentum, and that enables the forward momentum and the air traveling over the wing enables the lift of the wing to work. And so when you get to a certain airspeed, the wing stalls because it loses that ability to lift the aircraft, and there's no you're essentially you're gliding or falling back to earth, and that's what this looks like to me, is a pretty classic stall where the wing just loses its ability to lift the aircraft because of a lack of power, settings weren't right, overloaded, the weight and balance issue maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. They've got the flight data recorders, so that'll tell a lot of the story, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I put in the description. Like, this investigation will be interesting just because it was just so quick after takeoff.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't far from the airport.
But you got a pilot with 8,000 hours. That's a good amount of hours.
Yeah,
that's a lot of experience.
So here, we'll play this video.
So for a pilot with that sort of time in the cockpit to perform that haphazardly just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Everything seems to be going right.
Well, see, right about there, the gear should be coming up, and the gear is not coming.
And then
up.
you see it now it's floating.
Yeah. But see, when that aircraft, and normally you see those airplanes take off and they point the nose up in the air and they start going up.
Yeah.
And if things were working properly on that aircraft, it seems to me that a pilot with experience, would know that that something is wrong, would be able to take corrective action. And it seemed like there was plenty of time there for a corrective action to be taken. So maybe the pilot was trying to take corrective action. He did issue a mayday. But why, whatever he was inputting to the aircraft was apparently not happening.
Yeah. Whatever he was trying to do wasn't working. And that's, you see that plateau and you're like, oh, shit. Like you said, everything typically goes in. It's going. Gear comes up. All is good.
Yeah.
And most crashes aren't happening that quickly after takeoff. And that's what's strange to me. And obviously all the records of the aircraft, the maintenance and everything else is going to come out. They got the recorders. They were recovered. And Jill, and I agree with Jill, she said, holy cow, I can't believe anyone survived that fireball. So what I saw, and I did not pull it, and I kicked myself in the ass for not, is they were interviewing the British national who survived. And I guess when they hit the building, the way he described it, and it's out there on the internet, you can find it, but I guess it hit the hostel and his side was not blocked, impeded. The other side, he could tell, was impeded by building material. But him sitting right by an exit row, the door blew off, so he broke off or whatever. I don't want to say blew off with the pressure or anything. I think it just broke off, and he could see light. So he unbuckled himself and started heading that way. But he said, as he called her, instead of a flight attendant or stewardess, it was air hostess. He said, I saw multiple air hostess and passengers that were stuck that weren't able to get out. He was able to get out and apparently just walk. He was walking. Like, I saw a video of him walking, which that alone just amazes me.
Yeah. I mean, that's an amazing story of survival. I hope it's true.
I hope it's. That's what we were talking about before.
Yeah,
you just don't know.
I hope this isn't a guy who, maybe it was on the ground, saw it out. I think it'll be easy enough to ID this guy and then match that against the flight manifest,
which
I figure out the guy was actually on the plane if they haven't done that already.
I'm pretty sure it's legit, but again, anything that I see online now that I've been kind of messing around with AI, I have no idea what's fucking real and what's not. So that's where we're at with that. But yeah, so we started out like talking about, all right, we're gonna talk about the Air India crash. All right, perfect. Then then Dan, where'd it go? Then Dan sent me one of Pappas' girlfriends.
I hope is he still in the chats?
Oh, I don't know.
I hope he is.
Probably not.
I hope he is. This is one of his spurned lovers.
Spurned.
He's got so many of them.
I do love it when you send these to me.
I
giggle.
He just they all think they're going to be happy with Pappas, but then in the end, they just turn sour as can be. And this one's got some major problems.
I just realized that like two of the worst presidents we've ever had were both Arnolds. We had Ronald Reagan back in the day who ruined everything. Everything that's bad today, you can trace it back to Reagan somehow. Now we got Donald. Ronald and Donald. Really? We couldn't even have a man with a good name? Jesus. I just realized.
I was hoping
Ronald and Donald.
I was hoping that dumb bitch would say, like a good name, like Joe. Or Kamala. Or Kamala. When you find those and you send them to me, it makes me giggle so fucking hard.
Hilarious. Ronald and Donald. Everything that's wrong. It's a little bit like our county prosecutor. Connie Pillage is her name.
You want to jump there right now?
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Do you have what she posted?
I don't have.
Do you have her post?
I don't have what she posted. I have the interview.
Oh, yeah, with Patricia Mackey. Okay, so
you want to roll there?
Yeah, let's go ahead and set this up. And give me a second because I found her post yesterday.
I had it, but I don't think I
yeah. And then look, I am not, when it comes to being on the internet, I am not an expert. I can, I've got websites I go to. I look stuff up. I read a lot of stuff. But when it comes to like finding stuff that's been deleted, I have, I really do not have an aptitude for that. But I was able to go and find the deleted post of our prosecutor, Connie Pillage.
Oh, send it to me.
And let's see. Let me see if I'll copy this. Let's see. I'll do that. And then I'm going to send Kiefer an email.
We're gonna hit this local thing real quick because it's kind of a big deal, and it flows into like where we're gonna go.
Well, it's a big deal because there is this demonstration coming up in a couple of days, or no, actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
yeah.
No Kings protest.
No Kings
all across the country. No Kings,
and so it's and we've actually got. Video of the sheriff in Brevard County, Florida. Is it Brevard or Brevard?
I call it Brevard.
I think it's Brevard County. Okay, I just sent you the link to her Facebook post. But here's our prosecutor, and so here's what she put on Facebook a couple of days ago, and it reads this way: "What's on my mind? ? My job is to prosecute people who commit crimes, from minor infractions to horrible offenses. But all this is against a backdrop." You found it. So let's go ahead and put it up there.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Takes a minute.
I don't know. I don't know how long it takes to turn that around.
Takes us
to be able to get it up on the screen. Connie Pillage. There it is. It's my job to prosecute people who commit crimes, from minor infractions to horrible offenses. But all this is against the backdrop of such unconstitutional lawlessness, Kiefer. Unconstitutional lawlessness at the federal level by an incompetent, childish, selfish, uneducated jackal who threatens our very democracy every day.
That was a great movie, by the way.
Now, normally, when I see someone, throw out accusatory remarks like that, I like to see them back it up with an example or maybe two. Yes,
that seems logical.
In this, there's no example. Even worse, he's backed up by vile humans.
That's you and I.
Who very inclusive, by the way, I might add. Vile humans whose acts and advice indicate they want to destroy our democracy. Please join me on Saturday. And then, of course, he's got the No Kings logo up under there. So this is the prosecutor of Hamilton. The prosecutor of Hamilton County is probably the most powerful, other than the coroner, probably the most powerful position in the county. You're elected to the office. You really don't answer to anyone. You run the office the way you see fit.
You're an officer of the court.
You're an officer of the court. You have an immense amount of control over people's lives, especially those who are in the system or commit heinous crimes. So you're a pillar of the community. You've got a lot of power. And to my way of thinking, if the prosecutor wants to be political, that's perfectly fine. Go out and say whatever you want. We had Joe Dieters, a great prosecutor in Hamilton County for many, many years. And there were times when he made political statements. He attended political events. I don't think he ever attended any demonstrations on the street. I don't think he was ever out there with, the opposition, with a megaphone and hooping and hollering and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I don't think he ever did that. But you're free to speak your mind. But then when you do and you get called on it, don't cower. Don't run. Stand up and own what you said.
Yes.
Own it. Don't give me this weak shit like you're going to see here in a minute.
Well, you're allowed to have your First Amendment right. But when you take those positions, whether it's an elected position or an appointed position or whatever, cops and firemen, and we heard it actually at your son's graduation, you are held to a higher standard.
Yes.
If you are a public servant. Do I necessarily agree with that? No, not necessarily. I'm a human being. I'm a person. I can make mistakes and whatever. But the mantra of it is, yes, we have to have ethical, sound mind. We have to be compassionate because that's what we're doing, public service. But for this idiot to jump in because she doesn't like the president of the United States and what he's doing, it's not your fucking place to do it. It's not your place to say that. Now, for people that aren't here in Cincinnati, she took that post down.
Yes.
Probably on the advice of legal counsel.
Well, I don't know about that, but she got a lot of blowback on it, which she should have.
But I would venture to say that the city of Cincinnati and the county commissioners were probably like, you should probably redact, just pull it off, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
And well, guess what? People saw it.
It's too late.
People saw it, and guess what? It's the internet. It's the internet. Sister.
I don't know how many people follow her on her Facebook page, but she's the prosecutor. There's got to be a fair amount of people who support her and people who do not support her, and so they're looking at her social media stuff all the time, every night, every day, all day.
We're a small, shitty podcast, Dan,
just for stuff like this.
And guess what? We get hit for the shit that I put out there. So. But we don't hold the chairs that she's holding. Here's a hopefully I don't hit an ad. I tried to fix it, but we'll see. But this is one of our local news stations, and somebody that Dan used to be. So Dan used to be that black guy. Dan used to be that true. Black guy.
I used to sit next to Tricia Mackey on the anchor desk. That's a fact.
So this is a local news story that. It'll be fitting to see how it's working now.
That's my buddy Rob Williams, by the way.
And Rob's great. But and what's coming tomorrow across the country with all these protests and everything else.
I know.
Right there with
I think she's okay.
All right, cool. So people across the tri-state chiming in after a controversial
I'm going to
post
let this
was
play
made on Facebook
mostly in its entirety.
By Hamilton County Prosecutor Connie Pillich.
In that post, she called President Donald Trump a jackal and stated that he was backed up by vile humans, sparking some debate about if this is acceptable for a prosecutor.
I tried to ask the prosecutor about her post today, but she did not want to talk about it.
Brady Williams spent the evening speaking with people on both sides of this issue.
Brady, what do you got?
So Saturday, we can expect hundreds of people to be right here at the University of Cincinnati for this No Kings protest. That's part of what Connie Pillich was talking about in her post. She said she was going to be there. This is a protest that is going to be against the Trump administration. Her post was also obviously some choice words for the administration. Now, our legal analysts and pretty much anyone who is on her side in this says that she has the full First Amendment right to make these kinds of comments. The question is a matter of decorum. What we wanted to understand was whether or not it is appropriate for folks who are down at the prosecutor's office downtown to make comments like that about something happening here. Fox 19's Tricia Mackey sat down with an interview with the Hamilton County Prosecutor Connie Pillich Thursday about a neo-Nazi protest that happened in February. The prosecutor's office said they would not be taking questions on anything else. But Fox 19 still felt it was important to ask about a recent post from the prosecutor's personal account that has gotten some backlash.
So I want to ask you about that protest.
Look at the handler.
Remember I said in the release that we're only sticking to
Right. I know that you want to talk about that, but I've got to do my job, and I have to ask you about a Facebook post that you made. You said that you were attending because it is a protest. And then you took that post down last night.
You can ask, but I'm not commenting on that. We're talking about the Nazis today.
Would you not talk about any comment at all to any of the people that read that Facebook post that might be offended? Or say that your speech might be offensive?
I'm not talking about that.
Silent on the since deleted Facebook post that criticizes President Donald Trump. Political scientist David Niven says he believes that post is perhaps mostly shocking because of her job.
County prosecutors traditionally are expected to be above politics.
The post reads, "What's on my mind? My job is to prosecute people who commit crimes from minor infractions to horrible offenses. But all this is against a backdrop of such unconstitutional lawlessness at the federal level by an incompetent, childish, selfish, uneducated jackal who threatens our very democracy every day."
That's the website.
Even worse, he is backed up by vile humans whose acts and advice indicate they want to destroy our democracy. Please join me Saturday. Pillage did run on the Democratic ticket in November. Niven says politicians always weigh in on politics, but in the courts, people expect
Holy shit! I didn't realize she had that
I
much
think
junk in the
she
trunk.
spoke
Holy
her mind,
fuck!
And
Big
in
gal.
any other office, we wouldn't.
We're unmuted, and I know that.
necessarily be
I know that for a
discussing it,
fact.
But when you
But
are
sort of let
an
us
officer
let
of
herself
the
go
court,
after her Air Force
it
Day.
feels a little different.
Jesus.
Niven says it's a slippery slope. As politics become more polarized, you see harsher statements on both sides.
As one participant chips away at it, and then another chips away at it, that expectation falls.
The question Fox 19's Tricia Mackey wanted answered was whether or not the post indicates bias in her role as a prosecutor.
I just know that there's a lot of people that want to know if the prosecutor is going to be unbiased and ethical since that was posted.
Jacob is waiting for you anyway. I really appreciate you speaking
Okay.
out, Tricia.
Okay.
But we ran
I
over.
appreciate you talking about this. We did not run over. I was given 10 minutes, and I'm just doing my job.
I understand.
To ask you as the
But we set some
prosecutor.
parameters and we're sticking to them.
The organization,
That's pretty. I mean, that's the gist of it. Yeah, Trisha's a fucking. She's a fucking mad dog.
Trisha did great in that, and she's been around for a long time, and she knows how the game is played.
That
And
idiot.
The thing is, the person who stepped in there, her name is Sharon Coolidge. She was a reporter at the Enquirer for many, many years. Her beat was City Hall. She spent a lot of time reporting on corruption, graft, PG Flippenfeld, all the rest of them. It's all our city council members who got indicted. She spent her time reporting and uncovering stuff that people don't want uncovered. And now she's in a role where she's an assistant to the prosecutor, and now she's running interference for the prosecutor.
Exactly.
Because there's a journalist there who doesn't want, who wants to ask a question that doesn't want to be answered.
She's standing right in the back.
Exactly.
She's standing right in the back. She was like, "Oh shit! All right, hold on. This is my job on the line. I need to get up. I need to get up and show the boss lady I can handle this."
The greatest thing would have been if Sherry Coolidge would have turned to her and said, "Yeah, why don't you answer the question?
That
And go ahead and fire me. I'll have another job at Channel 19 tomorrow."
That would have, yeah.
I mean, Sherry Coolidge is someone who's got a lot of chops around here. And for her to step in there and do that, I understand she was doing her job, just a little disappointing is all. But look, again, you're the prosecutor. You say what you want to say. But when someone...
Stand behind it.
Yes, when someone wants to ask you and these were questions that were totally legitimate. Completely and totally legitimate. And for you to run and try and hide from that and give us we're not going to talk about it. That's not a good look for you.
We
gave
you parameters. Yeah. Well, guess what? It's a reporter. The reporter's going to try to dig in. I mean, just watch a news brief, with Carolyn Levitt, and how many reporters try to throw something else in. The reporter's going to do that, and hopefully get you to bite. Now, you didn't bite, but she also knew that with everything that's getting ready to happen tomorrow across the country, she was like, "Oh, shit, yeah, I probably should have said that. I don't want to talk about that at all. I'm not giving you anything." So
she describes Trump as incompetent. Who was displaying incompetence there? Connie Pillage.
Kind of weird.
Childish. Who was being childish? I'm not going to talk about that. You can ask, but I'm not going to talk about it. What about selfish? She being selfish there? She's, no, you can't talk. You can't talk to me about that. Uneducated jackal. Look, I don't know what Connie Pillage's education level is, but you should at least have enough wherewithal that if you're going to put something out there like that, you should be able to back it up when it comes time for that statement to be examined.
Here's what I was thinking.
Just because you deleted it, I don't know what world you live in. I don't know what all the rules are of social media, but just because you delete something doesn't make it as if it never happened. And I think that's what she was gunning for there.
That's correct. Which actually, I mean, just kind of shows the ignorance of like, if I just take it down, then nobody's going to realize or remember that I put it there. Somebody saw it.
Works that way.
Somebody saw it. All right. So before we get into the riot stuff, because that's where we were going to lead into, but I'm glad we played that then. But as we were talking about the Air India crash, then all of a sudden Israel decides to just go fucking bombs over, not Baghdad. That's a song. Bombs over Baghdad. Not sure if you
Who does it?
I don't remember. Bombs.
Tehran.
But it's bombs over Tehran.
Yeah.
So that's what hit the fucking news cycle, where I was trying to plan a show, Dan, and Netanyahu decided to just completely derail my plan. I want your thoughts on it, though. Like, where do you think this is going? Where do you see us? Because you've covered politics for a very, very long time. You know better than I do.
It's interesting because a lot of the analysis that I heard today, and I was working all day, so I didn't get to hear everything. But the analysis that I did hear last night and during the course of the day today. First of all, let me start with this. My bottom line is this. To my way of thinking, there is no way that Israel can abide the notion that Iran has a nuclear weapon that they're capable of putting on a missile and sending into, downtown Tel Aviv or downtown, Jerusalem. They cannot let that happen. These people live every day with the threat of annihilation, and they have to be vigilant, exceedingly vigilant, and on their toes. I mean, you cannot fall asleep at the switch, or guess what? Your country is over. Your people are dead. They're gone, and that's it. It's game over. So they do a great job. The Mossad does a great job, and they knew that the reports came out, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, that Iran was either on the doorstep of having enough stockpiles of nuclear material that they could create a nuclear weapon. Then those reports came out that they're able to enrich uranium to a certain point where they can create a weapon. Then it came out that they've already got 15 weapons, and they're very close to being able to put that. I don't know what the difficulty is, bolting that nuclear device to a missile is, but I guess there's obviously some trickiness to it. So, and it turns out that the intelligence of Israel enabled them to be way ahead of this curve that was being reported through open sources. And so they knew it was time to attack. And so they attacked their nuclear sites. They attacked the top leadership. They attacked the people who were making the weapons. One of the things they did was they were able to infiltrate the network there and convince these top leaders in the Iranian Air Force that they needed to be at a certain place at a certain time for a meeting. And they got them all, in one room at one time, and they flew a missile right in there and blew the shit out of them. And they dispatched them all to meet Allah. So it's a great thing. I mean, and this is, you remember when the pagers blew up?
Oh,
when they infiltrated the pagers, so they decided, okay,
how fucking ingenious.
We can't use the pagers anymore. We've had these walkie-talkies for years now. Let's go ahead and use those to communicate. And then the walkie-talkies blew up. So I mean, this is how far ahead that they're convincing you. You turn on a TV set, boom, it blows up. You turn on the dishwasher, it blows up. You turn on the air conditioning, your house goes sky high.
I'm waiting for Jill to do something with that.
Yeah.
He's setting up for a podcast. Oh, I'm gonna set something on here.
Yeah. So not only
Susie hits on.
Not only are they showing their military dominance in the area, they're mind fucking these people like nobody else's business. And
so what do you think? What do you think happens though? My question to you, and again, what do you think happens? Because I feel, and I'll give you my opinion real quick. I feel that Donald Trump doesn't want us involved in that. You guys handle your shit.
Yeah.
I think he knew this was going to happen, but he's like, hey, you can go fuck around on your wife over there, but don't bring it over into my house type shit. That's the way it feels to me, is he doesn't want us involved. unless an American citizen gets harmed in this. Because we have a ton of American citizens over in Israel. So if Iran retaliates, then it's going to probably be game on. That's my opinion, but you tell me yours.
Well, first of all, the brilliance of this operation cannot be understated. When you look at the New York Post today, Israeli spies smuggled missiles and secretly hid explosive drones deep inside Iran in a series of covert operations leading up to Friday, which they called Rising Lion, which I love that. I love the code name.
Yeah.
Before tricking military leaders into gathering for a meeting so they could be wiped out. I mean, that's like Godfather level shit.
Yeah.
Right. you get all the heads of all the families, and it's in the beginning. It's towards the beginning of God. You ever seen Godfather 3?
Oh yeah.
So what are they all doing? They're all having a big meeting. Michael Corleone is calling out everybody. He's telling them how it is. And then what happens? All of a sudden, these helicopters come from outside, and then the machine guns. The whole place is getting shot up. Michael Corleone barely escapes.
What a great movie.
So
the whole thing.
But this is like Godfather level shit. So they get all these leaders together. They think that they're having a meeting, and they put a missile in there, wipe them out. Intelligence agents with Mossad, Israel's top spy agency, started infiltrating the heart of Iran several months back in order to pull off the surprise attack. So they've been thinking about this for months now. They've been working on this for months now.
How
the spy
calculated.
agent, the spy agency planted the explosive drones inside Iran ahead of time as they laid the groundwork for the major strikes, according to Israel security forces. Agents managed to smuggle precision weapons into central Iran so Israel could target Tehran's defenses from within. The stealth campaign, dubbed Operation Rising Lion, was eventually conducted in 3 separate operations early Friday. Airstrikes with airstrikes each targeting specific weaponry and defense systems. Israeli sources told the Post commando units deployed precision-guided weapons near Iran's surface-to-air missile defenses and targeted the Iranian systems. A second operation set up to strike systems and mounted technology on the vehicles that were launched at Iranian air defenses. And let me see. Then they show a map. Satellite images confirm significant damage. So the final operation.
I wish you sent me that.
I did. I mean, I just found it just now. The final operation
those images are good.
Targeted Iran's surface missile launchers at a base outside of Tehran when the explosive laden drones were activated. And so it's great stuff by the Iranian military. Where I think this goes is, I think Iran has been got their dick kicked in the dirt pretty good here. They apparently they did launch a retaliatory strike today, but Israel has the Iron Dome, which took care of most of that stuff. But here's one of the important
parts.
Was
that a bunch of drones? They sent out a bunch of drones.
Well, what I heard about the drones is that if they launch a drone attack from Iran, it takes like 8 hours for those drones to get there. So Israel knows they're coming, and they can be picked off quite easily. Yeah. The missiles and the rockets is a little bit of a different story, but they've got the Iron Dome defenses that is amazing technology and works, has been tried and tested many times.
Our buddy Tyler said explosive loads is how I make babies. Yeah. As you should, sir.
Right there in the front hole. That's how you make babies.
In the front hole. Way to pull some fucking old shit out.
Yeah, that's a classic, man. That's a one more and I'm out of here classic.
That is a one more and I'm out of here classic.
But here's the other component of this. This operation had to be done with the cooperation of other countries there in the Middle East. So they had to have cooperation with Saudi Arabia. They had to have cooperation with Qatar. They had to have cooperation with the UAE. And if you remember, it was just a few weeks ago when Trump was where? He was in all those countries. There was a lot of stuff. Not only did he bring back $600 billion worth of investment into the United States Do you think there might have been some secret talks going on?
Talking
about, look, we know Iran's got nuclear shit going on, and look, if Iran goes nuclear, that's not going to be good for any of the countries in the Middle East.
Can I throw this at you?
Yeah.
Just a weird, dumb fireman question. Do you not think that the current president of the United States kind of has a good finger on the pulse of what's happening around the world?
Sure he does.
And what's happening.
Absolutely.
So then you have all of this bullshit that's happening on our homeland of him actually doing what he said he was going to do, creating a ruckus amongst the people that say, oh, he's so stupid. It's Orange Man. He's so bad. He's so dumb. Do you not think, and I'm glad you brought that up the way you did, the way you posed it. He was just over there.
Yep.
He talked to all those motherfuckers. He knew it was going to happen, but guess what? It's not our problem. That's their problem. But he at least knew. So that way he can prepare. They pretty much told him, this is what this is going to happen here sooner than later.
Yeah.
And just letting you know, we don't want shit to be fucked up with us.
Yeah. Here's what Israel needs. Here's what you will do.
Yes.
And we're the United States. We can kick all your asses. And Trump is letting it be known. And so I think what we're going to come to find out is that Trump had a much bigger hand in this than we know right now. And I said this last night on my radio show when this was going on, that we're going to find out that he had a lot more to do with this than meets the eye at the moment. But this is how he operates. He's very close. He's very tight with Benjamin Netanyahu.
Well, he's a world leader.
He should be.
So when you go over and you talk, it's like, let's just dumb it down. Fire chiefs talk. So like the chiefs that are surrounding my area, they all talk. And they come up with plans of action and instant action plans and all this shit. The grunts don't necessarily know everything that's going on, or the residents don't know what's going on. But they're elected leaders or appointed leaders. It's no different than in the fucking federal government. He went over there and he talked to all those sons of bitches. And they're like, hey, look, we're not happy and we need to figure this out. And obviously, Iran and Israel, and then you have, all Gaza and everything else. They're all talking to each other. We just don't know all the fine details because we don't need to know them. Because that's why they're there. It's a pretty simple concept. At least I feel like it's a pretty simple concept.
Yeah. It goes back to what I said on one of the previous podcasts a couple of weeks ago, that Trump he's a man of peace and he is a man of business. And war is not good for business. Peace is good for business. So the fact that you have this strike happening now is small, is minuscule, is a pinprick compared to what a nuclear war or an all-out war in the Middle East would be. And you have to allow these things to happen. And I think I think the planning and Israel coming forward, talking about how they were able to carry this out, just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think what else this does by going public with all this information about how they got their agents inside Iran and how they were able to do all the things that they did, shows up a lot of weakness that Iran has. And then it's got to make Iran think, well, if they've been doing that for the last however many months,
right?
What else are they doing?
Yeah. What else
do we not know is going on? So they got to be thinking about how screwed up they are. And this thing where they get these military leaders to show up at a meeting and they say, look, you got to be in this spot at a certain time. And they do. And they wipe them all out.
If I know,
it's brilliant, man.
If I know that, like, I'm kind of in a tiff with you, we'll bring it real grassroots. I know if I'm in a tiff with you and Randy Corbett says, hey man, I need you to be down at TQL Stadium, conference room B. I'm going to think a little bit about that and the fact that, like, I'm in a tip with him. Why am I going to meet up with Dan Carroll and Randy Corbett? Because that would not be something in the norm, right? Now, you're pulling all your military people. You have to talk about, like, I'm assuming it was all military, like top-end military people that got hit.
Yeah.
So you got one random dude saying, "Hey, I need everybody here now." It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, they apparently they made it sound like the call for this meeting came from the main dude, the Ayatollah.
And I don't know,
and
it just shows the ignorance, though, because I would be questioning everything. For you to ask me to be at a meeting, I'm going back to your Godfather reference. You're calling me to a meeting down at your job site. I'm like, oh shit.
Well, that's just it.
I'm gonna be in concrete probably.
Well, when the bosses call for you, it's like the Did you ever see Donnie Brasco?
Oh yeah, dude, I love that movie.
And Al Pacino says what did he say? He said, when they call for you, it's over.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then at the end of the movie, they called for him, and what's he do? He takes off his watch.
Yep.
Leaves all his valuables at home. And he's like, I'll be back late, honey.
That's a great reference as well.
He knew it was over.
So with all of that, so I'm sure everybody that we don't have everybody, listens to the show is local. Everybody is kind of across the country. I want to wish you a safe Saturday with this stupid fucking No Kings protests that are happening all over the place. All over. And it's so ignorant.
Yeah, I found out last night this organization called 5051.
Yeah.
So it's 50 protests, 50 states, one day.
One day.
Yeah. So very clever. And look, go ahead and protest.
And it's also funded.
Yeah.
By George Soros.
Well, George Soros and
there's multiple.
Yeah, but actually, it turns out that a lot of the rioters in LA were funded by American tax dollars.
Yep. That's a fact.
I mean, it's sad but true. It's sickening and disgusting.
So I'm going to play just for all the shit that's getting ready to happen, and hopefully not happen. But let's be honest. We've seen this fucking playbook before, but yeah. I'm gonna play this, and you guys have probably seen it, but I think it's fucking.
This the sheriff of Brevard County. You're playing the sheriff for the.
Yeah. I got the sheriff, and then I think it's a prosecutor of Brevard County following up right behind. But
Sheriff Wayne Ivey. I love this guy.
He's trying to be the Grady Judd, who I love, but I love this too. Like I'm not discounting him. Like I love what he's doing. I don't know if I can make it any bigger, though, unfortunately.
And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tight because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of it. All right.
There you go. That guy's fantastic.
So I'm going to pull what I think. I'm not positive on this, so please don't quote me, but I think it's a prosecutor for that county who came in right behind him and had his say.
I haven't heard this guy yet.
You're driving, and all of a sudden you get surrounded by one of these angry demonstrations that's turned violent. You don't need to sit there and wait while people smash your window and damage your vehicle and put your family in jeopardy. You drive. Just drive. Get yourself out of harm's way. Somebody's in front of you, and they're threatening your vehicle. You just drive. But we're grateful to have a great president and a governor that respect rule of law. And in Florida, you're not going to see anything like you're seeing in California.
That is outstanding.
So, yeah.
Just excellent. And Ron DeSantis did something very similar to what that guy did as well.
Yeah, I didn't pull that one.
DeSantis is fantastic. Just fantastic.
But it's and there was a little bit more to that, to where he was like, get to safety, but make sure you call 911 and say what you did and where you're at, and we'll come and talk to you. But we are not going to prosecute you for trying to keep your family or yourself safe.
I told my wife and my kids that years ago that you ever get in a situation where, you're in your car and there's some sort of mob activity going on, something that makes you feel like that, this is not going to end well. You've got to be prepared to drive on the sidewalk. You got to be prepared to break traffic laws. You got to be prepared to execute a U-turn. You got to, do not, and this goes not just for my family, but for anyone who's listening to this. If you run into a situation like that, for God's sake, do not stop.
Yeah, get out of there.
Do not stop. And if you have to run somebody over, I mean, it's a terrible thing, but it's either you or them, and they will kill you. They'll not only will they damage your car, for which you'll get no compensation, they'll kill you if you stop there and let them get into your car.
Yeah, and if you're a concealed carry member, just know your training and know what they told you in your class. Be ready to go to jail, but defend yourself. On that, we're gonna do an ad read. Then we got a couple funny videos.
Oh, good
to end it out. So
I didn't have time for the funny stuff this week.
It's all right.
All right.
I grabbed some.
I was busy.
You sent me one or two. Maybe.
Oh, did I?
Maybe.
I'm good. Hi, everyone. Dan Carroll here. Time to tell you about a great new sponsor for the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. It's Murphy Engraving. Murphy Engraving is the place to go for your business, industrial, and personal engraving needs. Take a look at the Murphy Engraving page on Facebook, and you're going to see all kinds of unique items that really seem to take on a life of their own because they've been customized with an image, a name, or a logo, and all of it just really beautifully done. The acrylic sports awards that light up are especially creative and very cool. The customized bottles of bourbon, those are my personal favorite. And wait till you see what they can do with items that are made out of wood. The next time you want to recognize someone special or you're looking for that one-of-a-kind gift, you'll be glad you checked out Murphy Engraving. And a bonus, you're supporting a local family-owned business run by brothers Brian and Kevin, who is a lifetime firefighter and Air Force vet. At Murphy Engraving, they turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, and at Murphy Engraving, we are American-made. Gotta love Murphy Engraving.
Just had lunch with them the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, he's got some exciting shit coming up. We went to B-Dubs.
Oh, B-Dubs. Okay.
He ate. I drank beers. Maybe you're asking.
You don't like B-Dubs?
Well, I do like B-Dubs.
I like B-Dubs.
I just wasn't hungry. I ate breakfast that morning.
I don't go there all the time.
I wasn't hungry. I'm gonna play this video. I know we're a little all over the place, but this shit just makes me fucking giggle. Senator Alex, is it Padilla?
Padilla, I believe it's Padilla.
Padilla.
Yeah.
Democrat from California.
Yeah.
Wanted to, he was meeting with a Air Force, I don't know the rank, Godot is the last name. I don't know his rank. He was meeting with him and knew that this this little press conference, this presser was happening with Kristi Noem, and he decided he wanted to ask some questions, and well, he fucked around and he found out.
Sir, hands up, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to how many of our ICE agents have been shot.
On the ground. On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go ahead, put behind my back.
Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
So I thought.
There's no recording allowed out here. I do not know. There's no recording allowed out here per FBI, right? Is there what I'm sorry? There's no recording allowed out here. That's my boss. There's no recording allowed out here.
That's my boss. I have to record it. He told me to record it because he knew this was going to happen.
So, all right. So I'm okay. I'm okay with, you're there to have a meeting. I don't understand how he didn't know or claimed he didn't know that presser was going to be happening. Right?
He was there. He was there in LA. And he
congressional, or he's a senator, right?
He's a senator, but it's still congressional oversight.
But congressional oversight is the moniker that they kept putting on there.
Yeah, he was there getting a briefing, I guess, from actually local people in LA. I guess update on whatever the riot situation was. Then he claims that he just heard that Kristi Noem was there in the same building, and
Weird.
having a news briefing just a few doors down. So he thought he would go there to see if he could get any additional information. So he's in the room, and he's standing there on the side. Kristi Noem, and there's actual video that happened before what you saw there. Kristi Noem is speaking. She's making her statement. Then out of nowhere, he starts shouting, trying to shout her down and talk over her. And he claims he was just wanted to ask a question. This guy is a United States senator.
Yeah, they don't let press people just shout out. I mean, you can shout out, but it's at an appropriate time. Like,
if he wants to ask questions of the Secretary of Homeland Security, he can have someone on his staff call someone on her staff and set up a meeting.
A direct line.
Yeah, he can get her on the phone. They can meet in person. They were both in L.A. Kristi Noem actually talked to him after this happened. But what he wanted was, I believe this whole thing was planned because immediately all the other Democrats in Congress start talking about, well, now Donald Trump is putting members of the Senate in handcuffs.
Right.
This is, and he's Latin American or Latinx or whatever they called him. Here's what Dan Bongino had to say about this. With regard to the incident in L.A. this afternoon, the senator in question was not wearing a security pin and physically resisted law enforcement. That's a fact. And you saw how he put his hands on. Look, the people, the security people who were there reacted the exact right way. They didn't know who this guy was. Just because you sit there and you could say, "Hey, I'm Senator Kiefer from Ohio." Well, they don't know that.
Oh,
they're doing their job.
That has a great ring to it, Senator Kiefer.
There you go. Better than school board.
Better than school board. That has a great ring to it.
So,
but no, he was not dressed to signify, at least from what you could tell. From
I don't
video
care how he was dressed. Look, it
didn't signify.
He's a pretty big guy. He was being aggressive. He was shouting out. And if he wanted to ask a question, if she was going to take questions, and I saw where she did take questions during that news conference, he could have put his hand up. Yep. Hey, do you know me? I'm Senator so-and-so. And she probably would have apologized for not recognizing him. But here's what else he said. Our FBI personnel acted completely appropriately while assisting Secret Service. We are grateful for their professionalism and service.
Well,
the Democrats want to make a big deal because this guy, Cory Booker's, saying he was brought to his knees. He was made to kneel before, the authoritarianism of Donald Trump. That's what they're trying to turn this into.
He was told to do everything that any human being in the United States is told to do by law enforcement. Get down to your knees.
Yeah.
Put your hands behind your back. We are detaining you. He wasn't arrested, so there was no arrest. He was just detained. But I'm gonna jump on Drinking Bros. Dan Holloway goes, I don't know who those guys were, but that did not look good. Like the way they did it, like their execution, it was not smooth whatsoever. And I was listening to Drinking Bros, and then when I went back and watched that, I was like, oh, I get it. I kind of see what he's saying.
Oh, I would like to know specifically what their problem with that is, because look, the first
it was
thing,
just nobody knew what to do. Like nobody knew what to do with him. Like,
well, the first thing they did was they got between that guy and the secretary, which I thought was the right
talking
thing.
like in the hallway, like the actual detaining. Like it was a little it looked sloppy. And I have to agree with, and I'm stealing this from Dan Holloway, and I don't mean to steal
I don't know. My
watching it, I was like, Jesus Christ! One guy didn't even know. Like, all right, put this hand here, put this hand here. But the fact
my take is, look, police.
That guy's
work,
a senator. That guy's a senator. Outside of all that extra bullshit, that guy's a senator, and he knows better. He knows better and how to conduct himself. And I think that's just Bush League bullshit.
Stephen A. Smith ripped him a new asshole too.
Well, Stephen A.
So
Smith.
that's pretty good. You don't like Stephen A.?
Well, most of the time I don't. But here I got
apparently Tel Aviv has sustained significant damage.
Uh-oh. They're lobbing shit now.
Yeah.
That sounds not fun. You know what does sound fun? This couple other videos.
We got to wrap this up on that. Oh, this gal, man, she's fantastic.
What's the wind blower for?
That's for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you have a fucking blower, bring it out. Push him back.
You can say something to Donald Trump right now. What would you say?
Donald Trump, you can suck my left nut. You can get out of my fucking drawer. You're just making Salma Hayek when you give it a time of day. And because Tony Sheinbaum make you look like a fucking loser.
All right, so
did she say you can suck my left nut?
Which brings us
make this guy jealous.
It rolls right into this one, and I'm so glad you sent me this one because it worked out so perfect. That's why I put them right next to each other.
This is come and find out, right?
I shot me in the nuts, and now I'm losing a ball. Surgery is tomorrow.
They call that guy Lefty now.
Yeah.
I shot me in the nuts.
Uniballer.
And now
they call him Uniballer, not Lefty.
Surgery is tomorrow. Good luck with your surgery there, buddy.
Jesus
Those
Christ.
rubber bullets will take a toll, won't they?
Well,
you catch one in a sensitive area, you got to pay for that.
Well, and you know what?
Fuck around and find out.
The other one said, well, just suck my left one. I don't know if it was his left or his right. That's why it worked out.
I'm sorry to laugh at that man's expense, but look,
I'm not.
You go out there and
Guess
you act
what?
like a fucking clown.
If you're on the front line of a fucking, I'm going to call it a riot, and you get hit with a rubber bullet, because they're not just shooting innocent people just willy-nilly. You're doing something. And I don't have the video, and I've got this one drawn up, but I don't have the video of the one guy who threw what looked like a spray paint can from probably 5 feet from a line of cops. And a cop starts going after him. And then there's some random dude in a pair of, like what I'm dressed in right now, t-shirt, khaki shorts, and fucking sandals. And he literally fucking just fucking drills this dude. Shoulder in the chest, lifts the legs, and drives down to the ground. And the meme I saw was, every NFL team needs to pick this motherfucker up right now.
Zeke Arkham had a great post about that. That was fantastic.
But here we got this other bullshit too. So, and we're playing these in jest and being funny, but everybody needs to be safe whatever city you're in. urban city you're close to, this shit's coming around. It's moving.
That's
Meal Team 6 is back in Seattle. Come on, guys. This
Team
is real
6 is
life
back
Gravy
out.
Seal. Although I'm pretty sure she's saying Aloha Snack Bar.
All right, this is the Antifa activist who targeted me. Has clearly transitioned
Holy
to the female.
shit.
Wow.
Aloha Snack Bar.
Jesus Christ. I'm not sure that asphalt can actually like sustain what I'm looking at right now.
That's a big gal right there.
I mean, what the fuck? Antifa Super Soldier. Meal Team 6.
Oh, man. They send their best, don't they?
Saw that one. Made me giggle. And then we got this last one. God, I love ending on funny shit. Or at least I think it's funny. And I'm in control of the mouse.
I am a single mom of 4 who are ages 21, 17, 12, and 11. I would like to tell you my story on how SNAP benefit has helped me. Sorry.
Go ahead. You're doing good.
When I had my oldest daughter 21 years ago, I was working 3 jobs. One job alone.
I can probably do something
I
like
had
that.
to teach healthcare. Another one to pay food, and which wasn't enough. And one to pay the bills. And I still struggle with life. Moving forward, I am now working a full-time job as a bus monitor. And
As a bus monitor.
I'm a driver who transports students to specialized schools in Kansas City. As an employee of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food.
You got to budget a little
And
better.
other basic needs.
Wow.
If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
Well, here's the thing.
There's more to that. There's more to that.
There would be a hell of a lot of SNAP benefits available for her if they weren't going to illegals.
Correct.
And this is what number one, they're looking to cut off illegals. They're looking to cut off people who are grifting the system. They're looking to cut out the fraud, waste, and abuse. So once they do that, and this poor woman has bought the line from Amy Klobuchar was the one who put her up there. So that shows she's a Democrat libtard. And she has bought the line, hook, line, and sinker, that she and her kids are going to be cut off and not have access to food because of the mean and jackal like Donald Trump,
Orange Man,
and those in Congress. But she's been sold a lie, she's bought the lie, and now she's expressing that lie and how it's manifesting in her life to members of Congress. So look, I feel sorry for her. Her job doesn't. If you get paid once a month, you've got to budget your money. Maybe talk to a professional. There's lots of people out there who can help you with that sort of thing.
Well, and I understand like where the government assistance is there and needs to be utilized. But to Dan's point that he said was it needs to go to our people, not the illegals. There would be a lot more to go around.
A lot
more to go around if it wasn't going to them
and
go to people like her. And I can see in her, like what she's saying, in her emotion, she's in a hard way and it sucks. Like that shit sucks. But guess what? Vote your local areas correctly and it all moves up forward. And don't let everybody else try to take what's ours.
Yeah. Maybe you need to lawyer up and get your your baby daddies to start coughing up some money too.
There's definitely plenty of them.
What do you want to wager? She's got 4 kids. They're by 4 different guys.
Ooh.
What do you say to that?
Oh shit!
I think that's a pretty safe.
How many kids she say she had?
4.
4.
Yeah. So she made some bad choices.
I'm gonna say 2 and 2.
So Zeke Arkham said, "Did you play that video of this dude?"
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I just talked about it.
Yeah, here's what Zeke Arkham said about that. How to get your shit ruined in 5 easy steps. Get on some Gorilla Biscuits and start taunting comps. What's a Gorilla Biscuit?
I don't know.
Number 2, throw a water bottle at them. Number 3, take a few pepper rounds to the face. Number 4, cry a lot. Number 5, take a spear from a random patriot who's fed up with all of you.
And he fucking smoked him. Hey guys, we appreciate you guys being here. Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day this Sunday.
To the fathers that are out there.
Yeah.
We are potentially looking at
neither one of our fathers is around anymore. So if yours is, make sure you make it special.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking at potentially Monday. Monday we'll be back at you. And tomorrow, wherever you're at, be safe. Because they're going to be doing some weird shit in every city. Doesn't matter where it is.
And if I win at poker this weekend again, you'll get to hear about it.
Oh, you'll hear about it on Monday. Hey guys, we love you. Remember, please download and leave a 5-star rating or review. We're starting to get to a point like where we need those a little bit more.
There you go.
Just to keep our things moving. But download, subscribe, tell one friend. Even if you tell one, just tell them to subscribe. They might not even like it. They may love it.
Press the button right there.
Who knows? But we'll see you guys Monday, and have a great weekend. And you guys all be safe.
Pappas going to show up Monday?
Well, I
don't know.
crapshoot.
You never know.
But we love you.